Chai Kadosh. Moshe Gad Hashem. Melechim Ha'Jai. Esper Melech Ha'Jai. Melechim Ha'Jai. SARIM Basesheva Sachai Tatsem Ha'Jai. Dani Bill Ero Craig Krez Edmund Eya Naid Reddy Cleb Red. I love you so much, Brandon Ned. I love you so much. I love you enormously, and I'm so sorry. You wondered if we could take a moment today, after the whole of the situations through, and what they were fearing as much. I began to organize a little bit my day as much. It really can be some best clearing my ambient between the whole of the mess I've been through so long, and not for I will just comfort myself around here, but at least to find out myself in the best ever proper way that I normally would go through my life. Okay, just as much between the blonde tea and whatever the reference on the spiels is plugged. Cojines, exactly. Pues que tío, que son cojines que yo no sé de qué les pasa, estos son farderos que andan diciendo cosas que yo no digo. Okay, and then the reality is for what the kid home tranks. Having everything that I get, whatever to be for trap, whatever to be for kid, whatever it is. Alright, organizing the whatever already cut here immediately, for I can have one normal through in my days. And while and though as disasters continuing as best life really exists for we to make it worth it, and for we to build with something which it means living in real life. Okay, you know, the clear facts of all, and I suppose pretending, still with whatever this habits and still with whatever you already are aware, evidence is complete, criminology complete, problems around situations undiscussably in the normal accent of natural realities as events happening for the class of who acts toward them, between the good ones and the bad ones, between the right ones and the wrong ones, between the disasters and the best succeeding or best success. Clear fact 4. Once at the whole which remains, and once at everything which is around, whatever to be, whatever I want, just making what it deservedly will ever be considerably some good to do. I'm so sorry for everything I can, and I love you all so much. Further, the last disgraces and disasters that somehow it were possible, not only myself, but we to do something about it. I love you all, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, whatever this is, and whatever this comes now, and whatever it is to be. From this day on, I love you and I adore you, never were different, and I'm so sorry. Alright, just a little moment between the whole of the situations and circumstances over the mess, and I'm sorry my mess still around. I'm not sure things to have the best of our choice, to making what it will be exactly the chat to establish around what the normal accent of whatever events, which this means, we are making life. Anyway, life is what we embrace and what we build every day. Life is what we restore, what we heal every day. Life is what we've recovered and what we've rescued every day. Life is what we understand and what we treasure every day. And it's something that we got to ever have the right ever concept and judgment that we know what this is about. Okay, clearing through and clearing on the round of the whole of the circumstances and problems is exactly the best ever choice and the best ever ways to more than learn what will it mean. You and I, we care. You and I, we understand and we do for the natural, real accent of we know what it is the worthy and more the worthy we want to be part of it. You know, further any interest, the primest ever interest is about what you care for. And that you care for and that you call for as much you really want, that you care about. It's the primest ever essential reality that you are going to have not only one motivation or one engine to wheel through, but actually the reality of what you do with it and what is about you. And further this is exactly, we know what cares. And we know who we are. Okay, point toward the mess and point toward the situations, I think is not much to say and not much to speech. I think it's much to watch and much to I and I looking one another through the reality, sometimes with a breathless, some other with just crying and others with simple speechless, and others not even with the possible to look one each other. Clear facts of the days and clear facts of us. Clear points in and clear points away. Points out and points near. Is so far and so much, is so ever and is so real that we know what is it and what want. But though any class of evidences and any class of symptoms or whatever normal best ever experienced through, the clear fact of all is just like we know, I love you so much and Papa loves you, and I adore you and Papa adores you. I think sometimes it's not need to say words, but what the words to making with class of a very instant of echoes, chambers around with a reverberance soft and smooth, where a simple whisper, where a simple moment so remained, where a simple instant which recalls the normal of us, which recalls the real of us, which recalls the instance of us, which recalls the senses on us, which makes us back, where the pain ripped out, where the pain killed, where the pain buried, where the pain never led to be exactly what the reference of a person, where the pain never let a breathe out. And the clear fact of these disasters never can deliver the understanding of a ram, but if a ram understanding the reason why which the real care about it, and sensed that is exactly the right to do, if. Now, I don't want one of you to run, but I want every one of you to be really precious ever, and beautiful ever, and loving you ever. And I really wish these realities to deliver and introduce what the normal as much this deservedly is. Real care for you and for what it means to love you. And further me, you can embrace that much as treasures and beauty, as much you are loved ever after. I'm not really so much fine at these days, and I know you are aware, and I'm so sorry for everything which it already happened around. We were in a very intent of a new disaster, and I've trapped myself to death, and I were dying and didn't want to come back. And I were trying to avoid what didn't have to happen and thinking about you, and I didn't want to think as much if I would or not worth, or being for care. And I don't play the hero, it just happened because of it were just something had to be done to avoiding disasters for worse magnitude. And suddenly the realities around us all, which still continues the ambient here and continues with the I will never need an obituary for medicine, for the supposed condition of supposed like psychiatric dangerous thing, which armed forces and evangelicals and Kirchners and them friends over that business, which I would be still request as an abrasion sickness with a simple void title or a disgusting murder in title, will ever discuss about best commerce to make with me. The realities never changed, except for what we do. We know this, and we've been always discussing about this point, which is true. And nothing will change it, except the reality of us. The sickness is sickness. Sickness is ripped out. And what can be healing gets healing. The nature of every existential piece delimitates or determinates or introduces or builds or destroys or rises and grows or diminishes on life or makes the whole of the exponential, whatever the view or the matters on this. Putting the orders, what gotta be kept, what is meant for kept, what doesn't make the right evidence for what it is the normal reality as much what matters and what cares is put in another place. So you establish the orders and you check what destroys, what is for healing, right to do. What is natural, away, so matters, destroying or life. Illness or healing, life or death. So in the matter of the soul, the natural reality, not for natural selection, actually for normalness, must be and meant for. We establish orders and we make the right normal equanimous and legitimacy for what it is a coercive, for what it is a coherent expression, for not only a judgment, but exactly the, more than a common sense, the sense established as what differing from the mission at the reference of giving space or instaurating as institutionalized, rectorial, or a simple, how to say this, agencies to establishing the orders and the sickness that ills and destroys and kills, away and reserve what is the worthy as meant to be. Because of if the worthy is destruction, abominations, corruption, and the rest, we're screwed. Then, if the suffer causes you pain, the way we've been speaking, if the destruction and the illness cause you a very state of pain and destruction and suffer, and you understand that ain't natural and you want to live and live into feeling fine, and find that the natural and normal, with a normal behavior, with a normal social life ambient, you respect, you behave like a person, you respect one each other, you have the right immediate normal reaction, the normal affection, the normal reality that you care, you embrace, you fight for, you work, you build, and you make something, problems, conflicts, but you go through and you make the job. Any person is because of something is not okay and doesn't have to be. We're not talking about eulogy. We're not talking about can be a dark side and a light side. The bad and the good in the person fighting and struggle permanently. No, the bad is bad and the person is just the person with whatever the normal reality as the person which goes through complexity existence, which is exact. The reality of complex is not abominations, destruction, illness, and any class of. And the evil is introduced by the same ambience for wording we know as sundry, which we've been working, but the reality of the nature or natural accent for existential it is for. Oh wait, the reality is not evil versus goodness, and the reality is not the evil cut to remain because of the man will have the natures. The nature is not of the man. The nature is of the ENECHIM. The evil in nature is exactly the existential character of what evil natural is. So the felt, so the demon, so not mystique, not mythic, neither religion is exactly history. We've been through this and we know what we told about. Felt demons were beings, came down, were abominable, made an abominations, we've suffered the whole of the rest, and Argentina is the highest ever broach for victims of art. Now, the clear fact of this gives the normal understood introduced story ad Dios pa calsumu, which is not Latin and neither some reference of nothing weird over known Spanish. And you know the language over anthropology with the kaida and the clear fact of I spell. So naturally, once you introduce the clear fact of one normal accent of the identified order, existential fact, a normal entity or person or whatever to be exactly natural and normal, you can accently introduce one normal sense to word you know. And the normal sense is you don't let it like trot around. You fight to at least establish some distance between and one obstruction or delimitation or one any class of impossible to trespass element or statement or statusment or whatever to be worked for, and you avoid it, or at least you fight it. Then the clear fact of this is, where is the nature of who we exist? Love is not enemy. Health is not enemy. Welfare is not enemy. Pleasure, understanding what it means, a normal natural accent for pleasure is not the enemy. The reality of your humanity, our humanity, is not the enemy. The reality of our biology is not the enemy. The clear ambient, thus the clear creation, is not the enemy. But the reality is you cannot let the enemy in. You and I were not the enemy, but the enemy. So the clear fact of this is orders, placement, reality over understanding, and none a word about giving space for enemy to do. And the clear fact of this soul, and I'm sorry I'm a little with the chokes, lung pressure. And the normal of this reality as much, the clear facts of what this discernibly is one instant which matters and discernibly is for the making a normal sense, is exactly you are in right-scaping for life. And if you are in right-scaping for life, you have a life defension. And understand what it means. And understand what we do. Okay, you want to do well. Clearing about it's not really such a very great gain. Just simply making what the fact of you have done enough and you've been gone enough. The realities might have so differences, but neither that you have the normal accent of whatever to be the realities expressly for. You should, firstly, you have a duty, and the duty is concerned about what is about you, not like an individualist for a selfish or anything like individualism like used to be known, that you don't care about nothing else but your own world and your own circumstance, situation, life, and going through us. No, care about nothing and up and the son of a whatever to be around and check yourself and move out of my life, and I don't have nothing to do with you, I don't want you to talk to me, and I don't have nothing to be about it, then the right concern. So the reality, as much it disturbingly is, you have a duty, and the duty calls responsibility, and the responsibility is you cut a life that you cut a maturely, not for administration, but in places very class of a very manage of it. So the reality of the managing it is exactly concerned for what it is the class of a life that you introduce and you do with yourself that affects the ambient and the social part you are. So the reality of your duty at the day and at the night is exactly what do you do with yourself and how do you handle yourself and place toward the rights of others. And how your right introduces the character of what others' rights delimitates or simply establishes other class of normal accents of orders, and how the rights of others also delimitates the right of them own and yours as much what is the line not across. So obviously for any other class of circumstances that we've been speaking out loud and so long and so a lot, referring for the normal class of reality is not apparent but facts, clear, everyday's experiencing and every time making through, is exactly one normal accent of what is the reality of you person, I person, how do we do? Conflicts can happen, problems can be around, situations to argue, might, or any other to be exactly like kept up out of, I don't ever. But further any other, the reality is as much conflicts or not, there is something that demands exactly what it means, you and I. It's not perfection, but the perfection is in the whole we exist. It's not like the demand of you better make the structure and be right, correct, and no way, no in, and just like a very perfection. But perfection is in the whole we exist. So the reality is, as much we understand natural living, natural life, natural us, the reality of the responsibility introduces, you act, you produce. You produce, it matters, affects you, affects others, but at the reference of a normal understanding. But the thing is, as well, the normal understanding, common sensely, and sensely for the normal judgment, you know that the right is exactly once you just make combinance. And combinance means you have rights, others as well. So go through in a very normal life. But the way we do, responsibilizing about who we are and what we do, as a normal living. And that is a duty, each as person to take. And that is something that we ever have to consider. And from there on, we understand what is the right to and the right to doing. So, more than any other, the clear fact of circumstances and the problems that never could be supported is we've been under permanent rampage and also consciously flat and so oftenly consciously dead, with a very normal reference of even coming to epiphanic instant to watch around like a visual point of understood, you get a death in the door. But the reality there is we know what we do. And we know what exists about us and who we are to exist with. So, reality is expressly for manners and matters is exactly what we do every day. Maturing is exactly the best of our effort. And the duty is responsibility. Your life counts, others as well. Let's take a moment. If anything will ever never giving such a brief word what the relevance of one person to have the normal understanding as created, birthed for. And the birth becomes like a very distress, and the distress is a rather a grade, and the grade is destruction for the whole of the pleasures to commitment of nothing matters and that everything to that everybody. The reality is something is not exactly okay, and the illness is not the person except the person to be on nature's. And we know what this is like, and we are not making whatever in the reference of life. Although history, we know and we have been suffering. But understanding what is the normal we do, and the reality is not paranoia, neither making a very près, ce chouette, dans le sud, très portant, ce chantu, le tramessi, c'est le gère, avec social protein, and not for France, and neither for French. But the reality of a lot of international criminal court were exactly there, right on the focus for a lot of discresses over what actions have been on different interests, which the natures of some evil criminals, a real fact of natural, have been delivering riche la criminal ton jeu plateforme, suivi d'appartenance je platissu, réponse. So, further any other, as much the clear fact, we understand it. Ain't nothing and nobody, and everything at the exposition history shown. But now, responsibility. So we heal, we work, we build, and we make normal. We are persons, and persons meant to birth for. All right, just a little bit. You wanted to give you some Frenchies on the technocrats. And the technocrats and Frenchies is so specific over, I have more than one detractor around to make the whole sickness that permanently are made me. And not only that detraction, but the host of predators seeking for the best ever that they can opportunizing my days over whatever then benefits to destroying me and to making any insight to whatever the crowd still turns to trying to. Sorry for that, but okay. Serre quand je placieux trémassi le barret passem je trône, ceci est paranissi le qui craigne chôme, à sculpteur, à traverser je placieux c'est le qui ramène traînesson je blais, de six suivi n'a ramassé sur le barret de chambre de répondre, c'est celui-là. Splatter, das Platus ist l'acteur, mais ceci le Jean-Mius, s'il est pire, das ist le ton, je lui das Schuld, les transitions, as mit dem se proschlagt die Kretanze Julius, mais c'est qui tramestien, j'aime été sur les parents ce jour, mon détransionneur, j'en les suicide, mais ici, le steur, quand je me suis communeur, son jeune de train, c'est sur les barracons, je plus, du issu reine, sur le jean, issu train, sur la preuve, je la tue, c'est sur le temps. Mais puis le train, ceci conjoint, c'est le con, sumus, un droit bio, je l'ai, à 36 le jour, c'est ma pluton, sur le dit, et sur le est-ce que j'en ai sur la terre, est-ce que terre, je plutre, est-ce que si notre ami ici, c'est le jamais, sur cela, reporte, Abusi, c'est le genre, suisse la tire, mais entretine, cette imprudent, je pense, puis andrust, les entrus, je suis retrinst, en ce que j'en, scube la transe, je replète ceci. Il se marrait. Scube près son chapelet, puis si c'est la terme, argent, suis très. Spatrie de son raptus, ce que la transis, je le plie à tissu, le termesus à la parole sol. Je me dis, ceci les petits, ratasmi, jamais, ce qui après. Ce place quand j'applique, transitionnement, cubreux, réduit suisse, à ce que l'air d'arson, j'inspire, ne réussit, jongle, sur une arme, ce chapeletterie torsion, mais à terre, dans un séjourne, sur le prune donjon, en près de si le tarsejon des ici. Le songe platistique, mais si c'est le don. Celui qui dans le ici, c'est le tranus en jam, celui le brunus en jet, sur les tarsessi, mais le supre, je me dis, c'est le tarnus, c'est le catrans, en champ, suivre, tarnushan. Le prêtre chanté social transfert, le prince de considération, Jean de ceci, non. Monsieur le prince, si le Jean de si craignit ceci, sur l'air, quand il chante dessus, comme homme, sur un jour, un pché, à retassu, j'ai lu ici, tremblerait, mais après, donc, je suis là.
Geselle transit relate susi, geselle selle geschotlete susi nation, gesprojul, bessusella terre. Gesmetis schuld de sasmaro, gesmetive, sporture, son genspe, goed, mais c'est par terre goed, dessus, je veux dire runst, son genre de fait prêt à être en ascension. Je vais passer sur la terre, passer sur ma rêve, le dessus c'est volontaire, mais je complète un certain ingénieux, me sert pour la séche de place, c'est que littérature se sent pris, mais en dessous, besoin en jambe, subir, de suite après ton je perçois, spur. Mais wenn es sich das sitzt rüber dran ist es schon das Sensation rund au champ de celui cri das un super de ce chapelet parole son jambeux sur sucré ni ce se reflétit sur la vie à dramisser retonge de suis sous-marin de portleu ce qui prennent ce jeu de la tête sur ce marin à ce lutre un cheveu das ambert si bis c'est moi ram le cheveu de ce cirque par ensemble jeu monsieur les 36 de partant das union de son genre non de gueule notre massage de la marin. En sur je blanc cycle ne me remplace je plie 36 sur les tensions génération me sculpteur tranissant je place tu gescula monsieur Jean monsieur Clipart de son je plie sur scénario monsieur Jean 26 sur le pu d'être un chien strange de son peu me reprendre jeune le dessus c'est de partir mais après on jette transmission d'achou de être ici me chou notre barème de son jablet transition secrétaire de son jablet éclatique de son rotation supérieur de chambre soit par soit un petit rétangite c'est mieux Galbarème sa jablet de sa pique de trône son jamais suit me 37 jablet article 37 chambre dissocié Mais la terre plate sur de la frontière sans se le de solitaire, de se le gêne. Les trans, je plate ceci, mais ce que les principes par les temps prêtre, c'est plateau juste la terre de ce je plate ce matin. Bonjour. De ce que je transcende le principe près de ce que suffit les techniques unies, mais en deux après, tâche intersphère, de route, je plonge, sucre en squelette, tranchenu, mais c'est le près de chube, seul entraîniste en gêne. Seul le merci réponge au platran, das isolé chambleu, est assez déchet. C'est très. Men sku bränner skulle trangesvän abonnerat on vische schrommon svelat. Men syklet tarnes skulle det svilata. Getsi me rappelait le chemion train, c'est sûr. Bien sûr, c'est. D'accord, ben je vais la train sur les personnes jamais si c'est la terre passible terre, mais en semaine. Okay, she's getting me to load down the voice, the volume. I am in a room, the doors are closed, and this is exactly that I don't tolerate no more. She's not ill by me, and she shouldn't be in this house. And she's not my mother. I'm sorry for this. All right. Selva tremasel rabla disfisik, amen tremasel shoglu transus eledasa. All right. And you know what I mean, and you know what I say about it. I'm sorry anyway. All right. This is something that we should ever have in the normal understanding as the realities themselves, as the clear fact of what this is meant for, and what this should happen. We have to consider establishing what the relevant character of this which we've just spoken. And the manners which is really relevant, we should make investor for something to have the right handle. And more than a handle, the right treat. And the treat over we care.
So understanding how to make the right job and how to not uh, delivering the unsensed or the making any weight of suffer for ourselves or others at the normal understanding, a normal way to is exactly the right. I think really deserves a little bit thinking. You don't have to making a chronogram. You don't have to making like very strategies, not for strategies. You can make a schedule. You can make some normal accent of understanding how, understanding what is the best, understanding how you can or not, until how and until where and to whom and when to or what to or which about. But the reality as sensed is exactly we are doing as we know, deservedly must. And further to must, we care. Alright, this is exactly, and I am so tired of this. I don't tolerate her no day else. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And also the sickness is still here. I will rub this as well. And also the trunks. And also this for tools. And also whatever is the references about that I got, also the whole I got in my Bricks computer, desk mini computer, the laptop, which I'm using for recording this video, that everyone went for the same, and also for this trunks, for the ambient equal and the mirror and the everything, and also to each, like I told you, and the organizer for kitchen food processor with the deck sander over slept of wood on the Naliotis pine wood, like to make also for the base on 1 meter length at the right height for one table glass, to make them for the lunch dinner place, which I to use it because of were really cheap and accessible over a nice refreshing idea that I could use it with. And also to making any reference of a very breakfast bar with a couple of high camp benches, exactly, and having the right place right here, and I can handle also one rocking bed on the puke at the DC waking up and thinking you are in a ship or something, I don't know, whatever. Making the commode thing and making the one unique closet and clearing and the chairs which are applicable over slept in one element on pine wood, and the rest of all is just rubbed in the whole I've done, and also the cars, and also all I cut, and they never allowed me but the grand Horus and hell with the cut and scarlet beast and the cut and snakes and the cut and demon and the cut and beast and the cut and all that goes with the gland together. I'm sorry for this. I need it, please. If you have a moment with the Foy and rain, the clear fact of the problems won't ever killing not other but disgraces as what they were referring, and I think it deserves to having a moment to think it and to making some best ever try for wording Elieh can really show making something as the relevant for ease and trying to not to try but to help inform brief to people and trying to support people to can making the right best ever to go through. It's already too much. The whole have been happening and the whole we've suffered and the whole happened through. I don't think that giving spaces to any of this class or whatever relevant associated will ever exist or help nothing at all. And neither to making a cathartic moment, unless to introducing a factor for what it can really support and help having a conscious strike over refreshing a little bit what is and what is not. Anyway, I beg you please, this is not a joke and any of these bastards are gonna do worse. So instead of making some relevant splack at them consciousness, it will be better just seeking for them splack out the reality of what they in conscience have been embracing. So if you want, please can really support you with a very human rights, human resource, and the EPNT Society Ministry and ambient support also, if will be necessarily with anthropology, with ETN EP, and what it is linguistics, and what it is the ETNC teams for the best ever PEBN. So whatever to be necessary for ambient, whatever to be necessary for community, for socials, for the understanding linguistics, for the comprehension, for the best ever setting, the clear fact that ain't no confusions. And if social workers at the staff for any assistance as much to thriving situations and helping people through, I think will be the best ever to try to cooperate as much and they can really find out. And if there is any difficulty or any complex moment, the word whatever the problems or any as circumstantial references which still might, any as symptoms could or not, having space to manifesto whatever to be introduced or destroyed or hurt or healed, any as the clear fact of whoever to needs deservedly one chunk away to keep behaving the best ever that we can introduce with a Venti. If you want, I think can really be interesting for one kid dynamics and giving to people some breath out of, and they might, with the normal understanding, objective and the normal understanding what he's treating about, what to treat, how to treat, who to treat, how to make it through the normal relaxation, the normal comprehension, the normal moment of clear, we understand, let's make what we do, and understand what it's about. We've been so much twisted so long with this sickness. We don't have to give space to that neither. And I'm not saying you do, but are certain things that worries too much, and making so much as much can make worse. So already we've been too much over the besmirched host, over the disasters that we don't need. And not to losing that focus and making that focus always that can really be relevantly for the best ever health on social sense. As ever, this to be proper and the right way, you know what. I love you all so much, and you want a soft little bit and load down the voice. I want to, not anymore. I'm so sorry. Forgive me, please. Whatever and however, you already are aware, you know, the same I, but no. Just a little bit. La toe fuemotias in Elenkefoch in Calvots schliegen Calvai Gelefets in Saloa in Lotsu in Crevoesima Halenkefalet Atem Shining Kevo Alef Kemchatzen Mavsima Melofoet Himanken Yourselves where I need Hawachi Hawat Noah Not just remember what we said. And just remember what we already go for and who we are. And just remember what it's all about. And the reality for it really matters. And we are matter ever. It's a serious circumstance and it's a serious thing. And life is not a toy. And games are games, but cannot be a game of death, and neither life at rest for. And that is something we should ever remember in the whole of the senses. It means we are. Okay, you want to do a little bit more. I have the conflict and I am so tired and I want to screw, which already that door open in a moment that really where matters. And she making the low down the voice and don't just scream and the neighbors and I don't want to and this is already blowing up the moment and I'm sorry for this. But just a little bit for so much of this Friday the 28th of this Chan month 2019 and this is 1557 almost 1800 at my mark in this town of Buenos Aires. Adore you and I'm sorry for them. I'm sorry.